Well, good afternoon and welcome to Leadership Talks, powered by Security Systems News. Leadership Talks is a weekly program, Thursdays at 12:30 Eastern Time, profiling leaders in our industry. I'm Tim Papura, VP and Group Publisher for United Publications and Security Systems News. I do have one quick housekeeping note. Due to the time limit, this is only 20 minutes, any questions from the audience will be answered after the event via email. So expect that. I'm pleased to introduce today's leader, Todd Keller, CEO of Speco Technologies. Welcome, Todd.
Hi.
Hey.
And how are you?
There you are. I'm great. How you doing?
Great today.
So, Todd, I've got a handful of questions. We only have 20 minutes, so let's just do this.
You got it.
I want to talk a little bit about you and then your thoughts on the industry and technology. You know, the program is called Leadership Talks. So my first question is, what's your leadership style?
Well, my leadership style is encouraging entrepreneurial spirited people. We're very fortunate that we're one of the last and of the privately held businesses that are out in the marketplace. And what that does is it gives us that flexibility of being able to let people act and, create without having the fear of losing a position or a job. And that entrepreneurial spirit has been what has, thrived and made Speco last for the last, 60 plus years.
60 plus years. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So what kind of products did you have 60 years ago?
So Speco is the initial company started off as a speaker company. That's how it got its name. And the original owner of the business started off supplying, speakers, to different industries such as the Mattel Toy Company, the RCA Company, and other, larger industry leaders at that time.
I've been working with Speco as a client of Security Systems News for the last 10 years. And, it seems to me that the same core people are still there. What is the, what's the trick in terms of retaining these quality folks, at least the ones that I know? And how would you explain the culture? You mentioned the word entrepreneurial, but how do you explain the culture?
Well, one of the things that we've been very fortunate is, the proximity of where we're located, we were able to pull in really good quality people. And, one of the most important factors that we have is people. And we're very fortunate that, again, encouraging everyone to participate, everyone to be involved, and everyone having a say is really the culture that we've created. And people aren't afraid to take risks. And I think that, the survival and with us, continuing to, grow in this very challenging market is with quality people and the core, group that we have. What's really nice is that everyone that is here has extensive experience within the marketplace and the industry and are extremely helpful in everyday, activities with Speco.
I've known you for 10 or so years, and Speco, of course, but I still Googled you guys before, we jumped into this. And I wanted to see if anything jumped out at me, and it did. You mentioned the word before. There was an article, a Terminal article from 2004, written about Speco, that said entrepreneurial pride. Does this still exist? And if it does, how do you explain it? What is it to you, and what is it to your people?
Well, it's a great question, and it's in challenging times. 2 years ago, my entrepreneurial spirit was completely different than it is today.
Why is that?
Well,
Explain that.
Sure, and we have enjoyed substantial growth over the last 30 years or so, and all of a sudden, when an industry gets hot and becomes a very important aspect of the business, it invites others into that marketplace. And, what's been encouraging is that the others that have come in have helped create additional awareness for the importance of what this market does. So, where some would say, oh, they're killing it, they're actually helping it. And it's created additional challenges for all of us to continue to think outside the box as far as not just providing a product and a price, but providing more of a solution. and the solution based of, like, how do I stop things? How do I, like, alert people to issues that are occurring? How do I provide more security and have that peace of mind that when our equipment is installed, it serves more than a purpose of just capturing, recording, and reviewing. It serves as a little bit more of a tool. And that spirited approach and the entrepreneurial thought pattern is thinking outside the box. And it's not just creating, like, and reinventing the wheel. It's taking some existing wheels that might be out there and incorporating into our product solutions.
In the discussion I had with one of your folks a few months back, the term "taking back," was brought up. Tell me about your approach today to the customer and customer focus or customer service. What's different today than it was say 2.5 years ago?
Well, I think the competition has created like a lot more challenges in the marketplace. And, like, what we've always prided ourselves on is identifying when issues occur historically at night and creating solutions, like in darkness, of having products like the intensifier, having products that are extremely unique to what Speco has to offer. When competition started creating the pricing wars and everything else, and, like, we, like a lot of other manufacturers, chose to, like, nope, we're not worried about that. Like, well, it definitely has its place in the marketplace. So what we've decided to do is recognize the importance of what price and the role that it plays in the marketplace, and said, what, we have to be a little bit better. And a little bit better means making the installation aspect, making the user interface, making all the things and touch points that a dealer and an end user have a little bit easier and better. And our approach of taking it back is the successes that we've had in the past in creating easy solutions of how to take things and how to install it is our approach of taking it back. It's getting our message out there and letting people know that Speco is not just a company that provides, again, I keep using the same term, capture, record, and review. Like, we want to do more. We came out with a patented technology called digital deterrent, and that's utilizing technology, to help alert people to issues of occurrence. We're now taking that one step further, and we are beyond excited, and that's the only thing I can't share because that patent isn't completed yet. But we look at the unfortunate events in Orlando, like in Boston, in Colorado, and everywhere else, and unfortunately, those events are going to continue to occur. So our role in taking this business very serious of not just providing an inexpensive solution and watching it occur, we want to do our best to alert and try our hardest to deter things from occurring.
So in terms of the new technologies, what specifically are you focusing on? I mean, HDs, cloud-based solutions. So where's your focus?
So, like, we have a few different focuses, and, like, taking advantage of, like, the TVI with existing coax and creating higher megapixel solutions, taking advantage of new installs with IP and up to 4K, like, products, and having, like, some unique features that are into these products. Again, identifying low light, identifying the importance of what we call our FIT technology, and that's just a flexible intensifier technology and a very specific application in movie theaters. Like, it's great when the movie is on, it's great when people are first going in, but when the lights go down extremely low, we need solutions for that extreme low light situations. Right. So from a technology standpoint, like, the cloud and the cloud recurring monthly revenue opportunities are tremendous. And those are, like, areas that we're heavily focusing in on the integration of it. We have made major investments in people, engineering, as well, like, as sales, like, to help attract the right clientele and the right engineering opportunity and partners internally, like, with employees that understand this technology to help us get there quicker.
You mentioned cloud-based solutions, so we're going to have to talk after this about Cloud Plus, but we'll leave that for another discussion. Anyway, had to, sorry.
That's okay.
So as far as, your leadership role in the industry as Speco as a whole, How do you plan to lead, with surveillance, or, just how do you plan to lead? I mean, obviously you've got some new products coming out, but what makes you different from everybody else?
We are very fortunate that, as a privately held business, having that flexibility, and if I put my hands up on corporations, versus privately held, that extra little bit on the right side and on the left side gives us that flexibility to stretch, the process of innovation, to, explore, as we say, where no man has gone before. We're very fortunate that we're also in the audio business, and having the combined two of audio and video is more, once again, in, without letting too much, my alerts, and the things that we're working on, because our goals and focuses are in the surveillance business. We want to have the best low lights, we want to have the best bright lights, we want to have all applications, we want to make the ease of installation simpler and easy to use, we want to make our recording devices, the easiest, that God forbid a situation does occur, how do I retrieve it and pass it on to the police as fast as possible? But I also want to have the best deterrence, and the best, in the event something does occur, the best ability to let that message be known to everyone that's in that unfortunate area. So, we are extremely excited about our roadmap going forward. I think, the market is still very challenged because, price is certainly a key factor to everything. But if we have the solutions and the competitive nature of the marketplace, we're going to win the hearts and minds of those that understand it.
So I don't want to get into the roadmap yet, but that's one of my last questions.
Sure.
Can you just talk to the industry itself? What is your perspective of the industry as a whole, and the trends you see, and what is going to be key in, say, 5 years from now? I mean, hard to say 5 years, but let's say between now and 5 years. What do you think are going to be what are the trends you see today, and what's going to really stick?
Well, I think that, security is not going away, and the importance of, seeing things are going to continue. I think that, key buzzwords that, people get excited about are RMR and, the road that cloud, offers, to that marketplace, and the importance, of providing products that fit within those market niches. But I think that, in our opinion, unfortunately, crime does pay, and the criminals are getting smarter. So we, as manufacturers and suppliers, need to continue to, broaden the scope of knowledge. We've been very fortunate that we work with a lot of police departments, and what the police departments lend us and offer us is the knowledge of what is happening in real time. What events are occurring and what horrific, things they're blocking and stopping. So. We continue to evolve. The technology of products continue to get better. We were very fortunate that we hired just recently a new engineer from a very large security provider that gave us some additional insight into, what's next. And what's next, in our opinion, is taking full advantage of having the portability of phones and having the portability of the information at the touch of a finger with apps and app-driven opportunities. So there's a lot more, as we see it, integration into, the user and the end user. They want to see what's happening in real time. And, our goals are to, facilitate the products and, software that helps that process simpler.
You talked about a new engineer. If my numbers are right, I think you've hired 7 or 8 new staff over the last couple of months.
And that is an exact number. It is correct.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about that. And I think you're also going through a major renovation of your facility.
Yes.
What's that going to do for you?
Well, as I'm getting older, I used to hate when my father would give me lines like, I've been doing this for 35 years. Well, now I've been doing this for 35 years. And, I'm gearing up for the next generation. And I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful business partner in the name of my sister. So this is the epitome of a family business and the true entrepreneurial spirited. Like my sister's son has joined the business, and and I only hope my son will be joining the business. So in preparation for the next generation, we're making the investments now. The market and opportunities and the winds of change are there. Like over the last 2 years, things have changed dramatically. We've seen the demise of some very quality organizations, and them not being nimble enough to adjust to the changing times, and the good news is, and again, this might not be an accurate statement, but it is to me, we're one of the last of the privately held businesses that are out there. And being the last of the privately held business, financially solid as a rock, gives me the opportunities to say, now is the time to make the investments. And the market pool and the pool of people that are available today are priceless. And each and every one of the additions that we made were very strategic, well thought out. I'm very fortunate to have a gentleman by the name of Peter Botello, who is a brilliant man that helps me with strategies and processes. And, we know where we want to be. And now the necessary steps in people of helping us, get to those places are a crucial component.
Awesome. So I'm going to just jump into something that's been in the news. It's been everywhere. Issues with cyber attacks and access to cameras, and so clearly a real concern for security. What are you guys doing, if anything, to help your customers?
Well, to me, this is the most This is the most important question, and like one of the things that we pride ourselves on is Speco is one of the first to offer American free DDNS services. And when I say American DDNS, that's a very important aspect of how, the first line. Second, we're one of the first to start the UL cybersecurity process as well. And, that one is a little bit of a bumpy road that we're all going to have to deal with, and that bumpy road is something that we've started on the journey, to start going. And then we've implemented a lot of simple little block and tackle things into our, hardware-based units as well as our software-based units, from the simplicity of password protection, and a little bit stronger, network interface, communications. That process is, one of the engineers is focused solely on that, and he's coming from that industry, is an extremely beneficial aspect for how we approach it and the roadmap that we're taking on that area.
Excellent. So my last question is, what do we expect to see from you guys in 2018? It's around the corner. I hate to say it.
Right.
What are we going to see from Speco?
Well, we're extremely excited about the future, and it's certainly challenging and it's very unpredictable. We're making the investments necessary. We're making the investments in a combination of TVI products and the combination of IP products. Addressing the competitiveness of the marketplace with pricing, identifying the importance of how do I make that installer get in, get out, and think Speco and choose Speco. We've incorporated the importance of all the introduction of our new products are all UL listed. The advantages of that are in certain municipalities, the requirements, and that requirement is something that we feel is going to continue to grow. We've identified that with exterior installations, people need additional accessories. All of our products now come with that back box and junction box. So we're going to continue on the path of providing more. We provide more of, recognizing and having hands and feet on the street with the installers and hearing what they have to say, as well as taking our, calls that we get, we react quick. And, we're extremely excited. The cloud is going to be a huge road, and a huge growth area for us going forward. Our own VMS, which we call SecureGuard, which was a platform originally designed to view multiple locations, is growing into its own entity now as a server-based solution with apps that is, being developed and continuing to grow. But our app development, our server development, and a common sense approach to what do I need to see? Is it the license plate the most important thing? Is, facial recognition the most important thing? Having that flexibility of truly, not just capturing, recording, and reviewing, but really deterring. And in the event something does occur, like having the ability to communicate that message the best. And that's what we're striving for. And that's something that we're extremely excited about what we're working on, because it's not just how much is it. It's what a great idea. That makes sense.
Yep.
And, that's, and as not quiet New Yorkers that we are, we will be, broadcasting and communicating, the innovation and, technologies that we're incorporating. And again, to really, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have to take what's available out there and incorporate it into our products to make the user interface and end users very happy with what the services are that we provide.
Wow, well put. We are out of time, so unfortunately,
Great.
I can't have.
And I didn't even tell any jokes yet. So.
No, go ahead. I'll give you 30 seconds.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Todd. I really appreciate it. It does sound like that you are, leading your organization down the right path, and it's great to hear all that you're doing. So I wish you luck with everything you're doing.
Great. And I thank you for the great partnership as well.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for joining us in our first Leadership Talks. So, folks, if you can, join us next week. We have Bill Bozeman of PSA Security sharing his perspective of the industry. That's Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So join us then. Todd, once again, thank you. And I hope to talk and see you soon.
You got it. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
Alrighty.
Take care.
Bye-bye.